Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special edition of Look What I Found, a Mythos Busters production. I'm Sean. Joining me tonight are my fellow busters. We've got Scott. Hey, Scott.
Hello.
And we've got Ian. Hey,
Hello.
how are yous guys?
I am so tired. I have to wake up at 3:30 in the morning for my shifts this week.
Oof.
And you think, just go to bed early. But how could any sane human go to bed at 7:30 p.m. with a child who
Yeah.
stays up till 9? It doesn't happen.
Scott, I've got something for you. You know what's better than caffeine?
Heroin.
Also, yes.
Okay.
But I was going to go with exclusive player card spoilers. We've got them. And we're going to share them. What?
Ian, how are you?
Oh,
We forgot Ian.
just a busy week at work. Nothing special really. I feel like everything has kind of just blurred into a quarantine haze, and I think I've just gotten used to it. This is reality now. There is no other reality.
Where you're not sure, like, every night, I'm not sure whether it's Tuesday night or Sunday night.
Yeah, it's yes.
Welcome to my life.
There are no months or days anymore.
All right. Well, that's a very well, I was gonna do an intro, but let's just fucking skip it. Here we go. Let's hop into our first player card spoiler for tonight. We've got a very fine card for you guys from the Jacqueline Fine starter deck.
Jacqueline Finet,
Jacqueline Fine.
if you're French.
So Scott,
Mm-hmm.
would you do us the honor of reading Prescient?
But of course, first of all, the most important part of this is the illustration is by Magali Villeneuve. Prescient is a level 0 mystic skill with a willpower icon. It is practiced and augury traded. God, I love augury stuff. Max 1 committed per skill test. After you commit Prescient to a skill test, name even, odd, or symbol. After this test ends, if a chaos token of the named type was revealed during this, you may return a spell card from your discard pile to your hand.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Okay,
So
before we talk about the card at all,
Okay,
I'm gonna
yep.
follow up on your art comment. And
Mm-hmm.
normally I don't comment too much on art, but this is the Jacqueline Fine art from Eldritch Horror, which is how I know her. It's very good art. It's Magali. And I also don't want to like disparage the art that they chose, but I'm gonna a little bit because it looks like the actual investigator art for Jacqueline is a little bit like E.T. in a wig. And I'm sad that they didn't go with this because they've gone with the Magali art for like every investigator that has it available. But at least it's in the game.
Mm-hmm.
All right, carry on.
I don't think that badly of Jacqueline's art, but this one is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
It's just Magali can paint faces. Anyways, about the card.
And hands.
Uh
And embroidery.
Yeah, and hands. Look at the throat, right? So
That joke was just for me.
yeah, it really was. And any really old COTR listeners. Anyways, immediately jumps to mind is premonition
Mm-hmm.
because you know it for sure. And any mystic where you're going to be rotating out spells. Or we've gotten some bomb-ass skills in this last cycle, including Spectral Razor and Read the Signs. And being able to pull those back, like, I think if you're running this, you have to run 2 Premonition. And Premonition is just a good card.
You're probably running
But you
it anyway.
need... Probably.
And if
but
you're not,
I
you
have
need to
cut it
rethink your life choices.
I have cut it from a few decks, depending on what I'm building. I think it's a good support card, right? Like in 2 and up, but in solo, sometimes I just don't have room for it.
Sure, that's fair.
Yeah.
And the thing is, this is not even on pass. This is after the test ends. if you were correct in your guess.
Right. That's the cool thing about it. It's not contingent on that. It's purely a guessing game. Or in Jacqueline Fine's ability, not quite a guessing game. Since she's a psychic, she can use her own ability to like to draw 3, cancel the 2 that are not matching, and basically increase. So no surprise that her ability synergizes pretty well with this card that has her art on it.
Man, and with Jacqueline's ability, like, you really want to drill down to like the not hypergeometric. That's with deck probability. I guess just the statistical probability of each particular bag, and oh god, just you could this is gonna hit a lot, I think.
Yeah.
That was meant to be a far more profound statement than it was, but it kind of got jumbled. It's just so good. And like you said, Scott, the fact that it says a spell card and not a spell asset. When I read this, I read spell asset. I'm like, oh, cool. You can get like a Shriveling or Seeking X back. But being able to pull an event is pretty big.
Sultry Harlot makes two good points in chat. Quite the name. First of all, practice makes perfect for anyone who can take those two. As well as, oh god, where's the other comment? It's basically resourceful for mystics, kind of.
Right. That's what I was gonna say. Is this, unless I'm blanking on something, because we have stuff that adds charges, but is this the first like mystic recursion, or am I blanking on something?
I think it's the first recursion. Like Mystic has a lot of seeking, but not recursion.
Not like just grabbing something from your discard.
I believe that to be correct.
Quantum Flux, kind of, I guess.
Yeah, it's eventually recursion. Like it'll shuffle it in, so you'll see it eventually.
Devermis.
Oh, sure. Yeah. There we go.
The worm.
But this is a lot more flexible and easy to set up than Dave Vermes for sure. And even like versus something like Recharge, I'm not saying this is necessarily a straight replacement, but if you have the tools to like make this prediction pretty accurate, like you do if you're playing Jacqueline Fine or have Premonition, then I mean, you're basically just committing a card to a skill test to get, your Shriveling back or whatever, and then you can dump it back down and be back to full charge.
And, Sean, we were talking before this show about our Battle Mage Akachi and how I didn't like Mystic level 3 Enchanted Blade.
Because and how you were wrong. Correct.
Well, okay. It takes up an arcane slot, so that's a thing. But this, like, this allows you to run lower charge assets and just keep on cycling them if you play your cards right.
Yeah, I really like it with Mind's Eye. Because you can pull Mind's Eye out, and assuming you already have it in play, just pull it back out and chuck it again for more charges.
Yeah.
Patrice can take this.
Man.
Which is nice, because sometimes their deck cycles a bit too fast, and maybe you don't get the asset you want down. Delarp guy in chat, Spectral Razor. Like, Spectral Razor is just an insane card, and being able to bring it back. Like this in Agnes with Scrounge for Supplies and Spectral Razor, like you can play 6 copies of Spectral Razor, which is insane.
The cool thing too is that this is not limited to, like, I could see a version of this where they would have limited this to like a Mystic spell card or something, but this is any spell card. So for example, your upgraded Archaic Glyphs, which are spell cards, like you could grab that back after it's all spent. I don't think the Archaic Glyphs automatically discard, but I'm sure you can find a way to.
Or Suggestion in Safina?
Get rid of it.
Wait, hang on. In Safina, Does the painted world remove itself from the game?
It does.
Damn
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Similar with Mystifying Song, Marie's signature. Unfortunately, that removes too. Otherwise, you can keep grabbing that.
All the good ones.
Yeah.
But you know
But
what?
if you're playing like super,
you could return Dark Memory to your hand.
Oh, yeah, you could.
sure.
Surly Harlot again brings up Daisy could pull out Eye of Truth that failed.
Mm. There's there's a lot of spells in this game, so this this card is only going to get better. But it's already like so many. Just even pulling up the list of spell traits on ArkhamDB, there's a cornucopia of options.
Mr. Trench also throws out if you happen to use a painted world for their icons, you could pull it back.
Sure.
So
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Painted World has icons.
yeah, I know. Yeah, like, corner case, but
easy to forget
Yeah.
for sure.
All right. Well, that was prescient.
I'm glad we studied that card.
We sure did. And you know what? Since this one's purple, normally it'd be you, Ian, but I'm totally gonna swoop in and just selfish.
That's
I
fine.
hope we can... Our next card is a card you guys might be familiar with. It's a card I was familiar with. But I'm super excited about it. Okay, I'll just stop doing this. It's level 4 Arcane Studies, yo! So it is... Oh, no, I hit cancel, sorry. Whoa, yeah, now you guys get to just sit and wait for me to get the card up again. Yeah, I teased you.
It's a terrible podcast.
There we go.
Stop edging the audience.
Sorry, oh god, they're going to be coming after me with pitchforks. Okay. Arcane Studies, level 4. 2 cost, 2 willpower, 2 intellect icons. Talent traded uses 2 resources. Replenish these resources at the start of each round. And then fast action, spend 1 resource from your resource pool or from Arcane Studies. You get +1 willpower or +1 intellect for this skill test. So, this was a mechanic that I really was hoping we'd see. I don't like to talk about this game a lot because too many people talk about it too much in comparison to Arkham.
Data?
That's the one.
Beep boop data? Yeah.
Beep boop data. Yeah, so this was a mechanic that I was really hoping we'd see poured over from Netrunner because of how many...
Yeah.
There's a decent amount of Netrunner DNA in Arkham. And this is pretty cool. One of the biggest complaints for a lot of people for those core set, spend resources for trait bonuses, skill bonuses type assets, is that it can just be so intensive. And unless you've got a really rockin' resource engine, it's not that attractive to most investigators. Most other investigators, other options are just in so much easier reach. But 2 costs to throw this down, and you basically immediately get those 2 resources back for whatever skill test you want to use it on. It's pretty damn good.
And that's the thing that Jeffo points out in chat. He's like, it costs more than the level 2 one, but you essentially get those resources back right away if you're going to use it this turn. Which, yeah, like it pays for itself, and yeah, man. And these cards, like the original talents, some people loved them, some people hated them. I think they have places in certain decks, like from the core set. And then we got the upgraded ones in Return to Night of the Zealot. Was the Return decks, yeah.
Good.
And they were level 2, 0 costs, basically the same text, but and also double icons. And it made it more attractive because you didn't have to pay resources for something you were going to then put resources into, right? This, you pay resources, but you immediately essentially get them back. And then it's just turn after turn after turn.
Yes.
You essentially have an unexpected courage you can use once per turn, or you can divide it up.
Yeah.
Like
it's basically it's a new ability you have that you can get 2 free, well, yeah, quote unquote free stat bonuses as long as those stat bonuses are willpower or intellect each turn, and divide it as you want. A lot of A lot of mystics who are taking this at level 4 probably going to lean on the willpower, but that intellect might come in handy from time to time.
Is there a mystic that doesn't lean into willpower, Sean? That's what I thought.
Yeah.
I definitely, my mind went to Netrunner right away when I saw this, and I think out of kind of the spendy talent cards we've seen like a few different iterations, like the original core that we talked about, and then also, although it wasn't these same name cards, but like the kind of overpowered permanent versions, like Higher Ed and Streetwise. But I think out of all the iterations, this is my favorite design. Not saying the most powerful, but my favorite design, because it does what you want out of these talents, but not in too overpowered a way. And I think it's just the kind of recurring, I almost said recurring credits, but recurring resources is a cool mechanic in the space to explore that we haven't seen before. And hopefully we'll get kind of one of these for each of the classes. I'm sure we will.
It would stand to reason.
Yeah.
I think it's garbage.
Oh, who is
you
that?
You would, you guardian scum.
You had to hop in just for that, didn't you?
I did. All right, see you guys.
Back in your box, you. Hi, Nick.
Hello.
Have you taken a look at our Arcane Studies here, I assume?
I'm looking at it right now. I actually like it.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say that I really like this with Well Prepared because of its icons, but then I also realized, that's like super overkill.
Well, and that was already a thing with the level 2 version.
It's probably more a thing with the level 2 version.
Right.
Well, and you know what? Doma brings up a good thing in chat. Hi, Jonathan. If you have both out, that's 4 a turn.
Oof.
Like, if you upgrade both, that's 4 wild icons into... I mean, if you're Mystic, you're probably using willpower, let's be honest. Your most used stat.
Yep.
So
that's pretty good.
And boosting intellect, I mean, if you just need to raw investigate, right? Like, where do we wait? Or just, I have nothing else to do. I'm a battle mage Akachi, and I just need to investigate. Maybe you can just like spend all 4 to grab a clue or whatever, right? Like there's options there. So
yeah, I think the big downside is just 4 XP is definitely up there, and 8 XP if you want 2. So I think if you want to go this route, it's kind of shunting you into a certain build, which is maybe a space we haven't seen explored that much, which is like a Mystic that's really leaning on these talents versus, like powerful accessories and relics or whatever the case may be.
That's the thing, is like there's room in every deck for the stat boosts for your important stats. This is probably just the way you go if you're going to buy these. Yeah, 8 XP to get a playset is not nothing.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, the bad thing is, and Jeffo points this out in chat, arcane research doesn't help you get arcane studies. Because you think it should. But also, it at least gives us that step up, right? Like, it's not 0 to 4, it's 0 to 2 to 4. So like, if after every scenario you just pour in 2 XP, eventually near the like midpoint to end point, I don't know, like scenario 5 of the campaign, you're going to have both 4 XP ones. So you can like trickle charge the arcane studies up.
Trickle charge. I like that term.
Mm-hmm.
So it was brought up that we hope that we see these for the other classes, which I do agree mostly, but I also kind of hope that for the other classes they change a little bit, simply because Mystic, you don't really see this. Like, this is an obvious step up from level 2 for Mystic. But I think, for instance, Rogue, if you were to go a level 4 Hard Knocks, that is the exact same as this, but for the Hard Knocks skills, I don't know, that would not be more appealing to certain rogues, I think, because that whole archetype of sit on a mountain of cash so I can go +4, +8 or whatever to a test if I need to, maybe using Hard Knocks, maybe not. You know what I mean? So like, I kind of hope that they're not all going to be just carbon copies of this for each class. You know what I mean? Because I think that different classes will use these differently.
But see, I think in that same build, if you're using money to just pass certain tests. I mean, Hard Knocks is combat agility.
Mhm.
But if you're going that big money route, this might be one of your upgrades. Like if this happens to be like a whole everyone gets one kind of thing. It's making more money every turn. It's like +2 resources every turn towards your skills. So that big money pay for everything, I could see it working. But but at the same time, that big money build also needs lots of XP and other things. So
Sure.
who knows?
I guess I was just thinking that because there's a limit of 2, like because you can't go higher than
But you can still pay resources from your own pool into this.
you can.
Yes, it still
Yeah.
works that way.
Oh, it says right there from your resource. I should
Mhm.
read that part of the card.
Yeah, if you just
Okay.
RTFC,
It's that moment where I see uses 2 resources. Oh, interesting. So then my brain went, I know what the rest of this is. Okay, never mind then. Never mind. This
That's
is an
how-
obvious step up in every single way.
And that's how you get reading 70% of a card.
Yeah. Yep.
Nick did his 25%.
70%. We just said it.
There's different 70%.
Right.
Yeah, it would surprise. I don't disagree, Nick, that it'd be kind of cool to see the different classes kind of branch in different directions, kind of based on their identities. But it would surprise me if the other ones are notably different.
Oh no! Now that I know you can spend from your own resources, I don't think there's a need for that.
Oh, sure. Okay. Well, there you go.
I think it'd be super cool if they, each different faction had a different way of making this work.
But that's also kind of what the Hard Knocks one, or not, Jesus, the permanent ones do,
Yeah, I was about
like
to
the
say.
Keen Eye and the Scrapper and all that. Like those are the ones that
We
are
tried that
more
in
flavored
Dunwich.
for the class.
And half of them ended up on the taboo list. So what do you want?
Exactly.
But you know what? So Doma raises a good thing here. Like each time you succeed by 2, put a resource on Hard Knocks. What if that's the way it does it, right? Like you succeed by 2, succeed by 2, succeed by 2 a bunch of times, and then you saved up like 9 resources on a super upgraded Hard Knocks.
Oh
And then
god,
you can
that'd be so
burn out
much
another
fun.
I think that would
Right?
be really cool, but I also don't think that's going to happen.
No,
But I
think
do
they'll
agree
probably
that's
just
really
do
cool and
copies.
flavorful. Mhm.
Yeah.
All right. Well, these are fun, and thanks again to FFG and particularly Evident Marketing for passing these along so we can share with you guys. If you haven't already, please do go check out our March to Madness tournament. It is the final match, Ursula versus Ashcan Pete, throwing down for the championship. If you want to sway those results, go vote. You can find it on our website, mythosbusters.com, or you can find it on any of our social media or the Arkham LCG subreddit. There's a pinned post. Go vote, and it's going to be fun. I'm excited to debrief from that as well next week. Next week, for those of you who are here, we are going to sit down on Tuesday night and announce the winner of that tournament. Talk about the tournament a little bit and kind of how the votes went and what we feel about it, and probably drink as well. I'm going to drink. You guys can drink if you want.
I mean, my champion is still in the running. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah, Scott, yeah.
We bloody know.
We'll also be announcing the champion live.
Mm-hmm,
So that's the.
We'll
We'll see. Maybe
We'll pontificate
I'll start drinking
a
after
little
that.
bit. Yeah. We'll pontificate a little bit on the ethics of you dropping that Ursula deck list in the middle of the tournament and possibly swaying the results.
I had been working on that for months.
Yeah, it's a little bit of possible insider trading there, but either way it works. So anyway, it's been a really fun tournament, so go check that out if you haven't already. And we are about to go hop into our Discord and record our next episode of Mythos Busters, where we're going to be breaking down... what are we doing today? The point of no return, Mythos pack, player cards, and the scenario. So if you feel like joining us, please come do so. And for everyone else, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.